use a different.
It's public. This video is visible to everyone. Oh, it's live now. We're live. Hey! At last we had a bit of trouble getting live there. Welcome everybody. If anyone's joining, I should have actually shared the link, which we could have shared really on Facebook, couldn't we? Yeah. Could have shared the link from this. That would have been handy. Let me just get this off screen for you. So, just to say welcome. Well, today's an exciting day. I thought I'd go live with this one on YouTube. My assistant is now going to try and send the link everywhere and try and get it posted on social media so we can get a few more people following. But welcome guys, welcome. An exciting day for Fujifilm. In the early hours, the official launch at Fujikina in Japan has announced the new Fujifilm GFX100. An awesome system. Now, a little bit of background. I have had the privilege, being a Fujifilm ambassador from the UK, I've had the privilege of having a bit of involvement and hands-on pre-launch stage with the prototype models through the development processes and giving photographer feedback and changes we would like and things we would like included and handling and testing and all those kind of things. Obviously, we've been under NDAs until today, and I just wanted to go through some of the features, some of the things that have come out with this amazing system in this medium format world for us. Because once again, Fuji have done some world firsts and groundbreaking things in the medium format world, even though they're not going to call this one a medium format camera, which is a really strange name, which we all find quite funny. But at the end of the day, to us, it's still medium format camera. So let's have a look. I mean, it's an awesome system. So it carries on from the GFX50S and the GFX50R range, but it is a little bit different in body design and body shape. So those of you that are DSLR users, it actually probably in its format looks more like its profiles a bit like a Canon 1DX Mark II or a Nikon D5 kind of shape and style, a bit like a traditional DSLR. In fact, in terms of size, it is actually shorter and not as tall as a Nikon and a Canon, but it's a few millimeters deeper. So overall dimensions, it's actually it's a little bit smaller than a 1DX Mark II. But of course, Fujifilm have done it again. This thing's kicking out 102 megapixels. It's the world's first medium format system, mirrorless, that goes past the 100 megapixel mark. So Fuji have broken the boundaries again. Of course, I'm going to sound a little bit biased, but of course there are some things I don't like on it, which we can go into a little bit. But I thought I would hit the press live and hit it hot while this thing has now been launched in the earliest hours of today in Japan. So let's go through some basic spec of it first and have a look at the system. So as I said, 102 megapixels. Now, they're not calling it medium format. Let's get over the name thing first, because that really makes me laugh and makes a lot of people laugh. So they're trying to rename it a 55mm diagonal length along a large format sensor. Now, that is one hell of a mouthful. And at the end of the day, the sensor is the same size as the 50S and the 50R. So in my eyes as an end user, there's no way I'm going to be calling it a 55mm diagonal length large format sensor. It's medium format. Okay, we all know it's medium format. Anything bigger than 35mm is really classed as medium format, although there are some variants. Let's not get into that fight today. So let's have a look. It's got phase detection in the system. Let's go through some of these new groundbreaking features that are in this camera. I'm just going to cover them just a little bit first. So it's got phase detection, whereas most medium formats are only contrast detect. So that is absolutely awesome. It's got 3.76 million pixels of phase detection with 100% coverage across the whole sensor. Now that phase detection system has been brought over from the X-T3. Why has that been brought over from the X-T3? because the GFX100 has the same BSI sensor technology as the X-T3 has. So all those features that we can put on a BSI sensor that the X-T3 has got, we can now bring the majority of those into the GFX100. So that is just super fantastic straight away. And if you think about it, with the GFX sensor compared to the APS-C sensor, is almost 4 times the size. So it makes sense to get a big sheet of, you know, BSI sensor and then just cut it 4 times larger, and you can put it straight into the GFX100, which is what they've kind of done in a sort of a, you know, low level kind of approach. So we also have all the other nice things like face detect, face and eye detect, and everything like that is now come over to the medium format as well, which no other medium format's got. So that's really awesome. One of the most important things, which is going to be a massive feature for a lot of photographers in many areas and many genres, is it's got 5-axis IBIS, you know, inbuilt image stabilization, in-body image stabilization, and it's the world's first again on a sensor bigger than 35mm to have IBIS, and that will give you about up to 5.5 stops of stabilization. That's based on the GF63mm lens. Of course, the stabilization stops, you know, changes depending on which lens you have on. So up to 5.5 stops based on the 63mm lens. You go for longer lenses, you'll get a, you know, your stops will be it's lens dependent, so you won't get quite as much. Who's this camera for? Well, the commercial world, yeah, it's going to be a smaller market, but you know, it's going to be for all the fashion shooters, the beauty shooters, the commercial shooters, the product shooters, the automotive photographers, the landscapers, wedding photographers. Good luck, because the raw files out of this thing are over 300 megs, so, or 200 megs, sorry. So I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, the image size out of that is absolutely crazy. I definitely wouldn't want to shoot a wedding on it if I was a wedding shooter. But it's very, very capable with all the new technology in this medium format, and I was just so privileged to be a part of it up until this launch day as well, and getting hands on the early prototypes before the firmware was completed into the pre-prod models, and getting to, you know, have a little shoot and a play with those. At a later point, I will be getting the camera and doing a full shoot process and video shoot on it, but we haven't got them in our hands for that yet. But back to the fun stuff. Okay, so it's carried over the 4K video, so we've got 4K video in this, but we can do 4K at 30p. Now that is virtually across the whole sensor, the whole medium format sensor as well. So no cropping in like bloody Canon does with their DSLR mirrorless systems, still cropping in on everything. So that's 4K at 30p virtually across the whole sensor apart from a few millimeters. So it's virtually zero crop on a medium format sensor. And again, because it's the BSI carrying over from the X-T3s and things with the same X processor 4 and everything else, we're also going to get 10-bit 420 in that camera and 10-bit 422 externally if you got an external recorder. We've got all the other nice stuff in there like H.265, HVAC codec, F-log, H-log, the Eternifilm simulations, the whole shebang is in this new medium format camera. Phenomenal input in this thing. Layout and ergonomics. Now they've sort of gone away from traditional manual dials on the top of this one. We've got a couple, but we have the lovely top LCD display where we have virtual dials in the top screen. So there's virtual digital dials, and you can change the menu and customize those functions for what those dials do. But you can still use your rear thumb wheel and your front scroll wheel as well, and you'll see your virtual dials turning around on the LCD, which is just awesome. I think it's quite a nice direction to go. So they've kept a little bit minimalist on the top in terms of physical dials and the tactile feel, but you still have all the tactile feel from front and back, but with that visual LCD which you can customize. So that's absolutely awesome. A nice little feature, and you can change it for a black backlit screen or a white backlit screen. So it's like the OLED screens all over again. That's actually pretty impressive. It carries the same style and design, EVF detachable, and you can put obviously the tilt swivel version on, but the new EVF on this one is a higher resolution. So the EVF on the new one is a 5.76 million dot EVF with 100% coverage. and the LCD on it is a 2.36 million dot touchscreen LCD. The EVF is compatible with the older GFXs, but the newer one is a higher resolution. So if you were to put that on the older GFX, it would revert back to the standard resolution and vice versa. But the EVF in this thing is just off the charts, off the planet. It is big, it is bright, it is beautiful. Obviously, it's got the comfortable rubber eyepiece in that, like the GFXs have. So that's another gain on there. Again, on image quality, we're getting up to 16-bit RAW, which was also a request of pro photographers. And you've got other nice little features where you can actually process to 16-bit TIFF in-camera conversion from 16-bit RAW, if that's your kind of thing. They've had a little thing in there called smooth skin effect. So it kind of smooths the skin effect a little bit in shooting. That only applies to JPEGs. So if you want to shoot JPEG stuff and you're shooting people, and I don't think it's going to be a selfie camera at 102 megapixels. But again, it's a nice little effect which you can add, which just smooths the skin texture a little bit. Don't know if I would use that anywhere. Not in my work. I shoot RAW quite a lot and tethered. I don't know. It might come in handy somewhere. Be nice to hear that when it's out and people are testing it, or whether they actually use it or not. USB-C connections on this one, and yes, we can do USB-C charging via a power bank or a power block, so you can charge your camera from one of those, so that's awesome as well. And yes, straight out the bag, tethered capabilities with Lightroom and Capture One Pro. So Capture One Pro already geared up for tethered capabilities, so that's pretty cool as well. But overall, I mean, the camera takes 2 batteries. The grip is built in now ergonomically, so it's already got the vertical grip built in, and it will take 2 batteries, so that will give you over 800 shots from your system now, 800 shots. But get this, even with the 2 batteries in there, this camera is lighter than the Canon 1DX2 with its batteries. It's also lighter than the Nikon D5 with its batteries. The GFX100 with 2 batteries comes in at 1400 grams in terms of weight. The Canon 1DX is 1544 grams and the Nikon D5 is 1415 grams. So you're getting a medium format system camera, mirrorless, with 5-axis image, 5-axis in-body image stabilization built in. It takes 2 batteries. It's 100 megapixel in there. You've got 4K video at 30p at 10-bit full 2.0 and 10-bit full 2.2 externally. You've got the H.265 f-logs, H-logs, Eterners, and the camera is virtually smaller and lighter by a little bit than your standard 35mm DSLRs, top of your range Pro System series. But you have all this functionality of the mirrorless system with 4K video in there. Phenomenal. Groundbreaking and phenomenal. Now, I know when I tested the prototypes, not all the firmware was completely up to date, as you would expect in a prototype. Not all the finishing was done when I sat through them at the X Summit in Dubai, when we were giving photographer feedback and some changes we'd like. The hand grip and everything, it's a beautiful system to hold. The focus on it for a medium format, it far outweighs the GFX50S and R, especially with the phase detection. The focus is so quick. I remember in the pre-prod models, I was just testing it we're in a boardroom or in a meeting room, but I was testing its pull and focus and throw, and I was focusing on the background in the distance and then snapping the camera back to a coffee cup on the table. And that thing is so damn quick, and that's not even the final software when I was testing it. So the thing is just phenomenal. I mean, I just couldn't believe the speed of that autofocus, pulling back in low light in a conference room. Also, we've got face detect and everything else in there for a little bit better low light focusing and stuff like that. Image stabilization for stills photographers. You know, I was just testing that at 1/30th of a second, and the thing was absolutely tack sharp at a 30th of a second, handheld. Medium format, what can you say? I mean, that's phenomenal. So for anybody wanting to do some handheld stuff, or if you're not that competent in shooting medium format, because You got to remember, holding one of those is a bit different, and if you make a little bit of shake mistake, then even on the 50 versions, a 50R and a 50S, it's going to amplify that mistake with 50 million pixels. So now you've got 100 million pixels crammed in there. So that IBIS is a godsend. And for video shooters, you're getting 5-axis IBIS in there for a bit of handheld stuff if you haven't got a rig or anything else to put it on. So you can have a little bit of leeway there doing video as well, right up to 4K 30p with a bit of inbuilt stabilization in your camera system. Absolutely bloody phenomenal. The EVF, you can priority mode the EVF as well. You've got different priority modes which you can set even your EVF. I haven't got the list in front of me for those and I can't remember the details. But I will do another review on that more in detail when the final version with the final firmware comes out. Now, I know there's people been, YouTube videos have gone crazy today on this because of the launch and the early hours of last night. And there are people that have had some other pre-prod models to test, and a lot of journalists and a lot of other camera companies to have full review and full spec and information on it. But I just want to say, as a Fuji UK ambassador, I was privileged to be asked to go to the X Summit in Dubai to be part of the GFX100 feedback. A couple of things I didn't like about it. It's just my gripe. Other people seem okay with it. Other people also share similar interests. It's the vertical grip I just wish was just a little bit thicker in the curve around the front, like the camera is in portrait mode. I just wish they were the same, and they're not. They're a little bit different. The vertical grip on the bottom is a little bit angular on the edge. Nothing you won't get used to, and nothing you won't soon forget about when you're holding it. So I'm sure it'll be fine. Weight wise, people shooting 1DX2s in the studio all day, handheld, then weight wise, apart from the lenses perhaps being a little bit heavier, you're going to be fine as well, because the camera's lighter than both of those in body weight. So you guys will be fine shooting that stuff. It feels great. I gotta say, the camera feels great. The menu system's great, the touch screen's great. I like the virtual dials on top. I think that's quite a nice little feature and really easy to get used to. This camera's going to be so much fun in so many ways. Yeah, the thing is, the damn file size. I know with my 50R and 50Ss that I shoot, when I export to 16-bit TIFF from my 120 meg RAW, that 16-bit TIFF is like 350 megs. I mean, that's absolutely bloody huge. So now you've got a 100 meg. I mean, it's going to be like a 600 meg file. That's going to be ginormous. So all of you people that like the machine gun effect and happy snappers, I just say good luck, and make sure you buy lots and lots of hard drives, because you're going to need it for backing up that space. What else? What other nice features did it have? I mean, there's loads in there I haven't mentioned, but they are the sort of the main launch features of all these world firsts, and how they've managed to get all of that in a system that small with 5-axis IBIS and stuff. I mean, Fujifilm have designed their own IBIS system for that to work in a camera that size. It's only a few millimeters deeper from back to front. I'm not sure where that comes, if it's EVF length to keep your face off the back of the body, which was a request, but I'm talking like 5 millimeters. Apart from that, the camera is lighter and smaller in width and height than your pro-end DSLRs. Price point, as we know, there's no confirmation in the UK yet, but we know, the rumours have been, in terms of dollars, it's going to be around around the $10,000 mark, which is phenomenal for a 100 megapixel system. If you jump over to let's say for example a phase 1 system, 100 meg, it's going to cost you around like between 25 and 30,000. So and that's not mirrorless, but yeah, groundbreaking. There's going to be so many things that this camera is going to open up the doors for in a lot of areas for a lot of people, and I know there's been a lot of buzz about it. Image quality goes without saying. It's Fujifilm's image quality on that sensor, with all their color tech behind all that color quality as well, from generations gone past. The system's very clever. I like it. Now, I know Kevin Mullins has released a little YouTube video this morning as well, and not done a live version, and rightly so. He says even though he likes everything, as a wedding photographer, it's probably not the tool for him and his industry. Now, for me as a fashion, beauty and advertising photographer, it is a tool for my industry. And I'm looking forward to getting hands-on and diving deep into this thing, and using it so much, because it's phenomenal, and the ergonomics are just beautiful. I just can't say enough about that. It's just so comfortable in the hands. It's so lovely. And we get other things like frame rate increases as well. So, you know, people that need to shoot anything moving, or if you're doing a fashion editorial out on the move and you have all your subjects walking towards you in order to capture those, you know, I think it's up to, what is it, 5.5 frames a second now? If you want to shoot 5.5 frames a second at 100 megapixels, I'm sure there are plenty of people that will. But you're pulling all that tech on that BSI sensor from the Fuji X-T3. So you're getting, like I say, phase detection, phase detect, eye detect. Because of that sensor, that technology can parallel across to the GFX100. So that I mean, having that in a medium format is just, you know, off the charts. Again, technology is just hitting a whole new world at the moment. And no doubt Fujifilm will release other firmware upgrades as time goes on for improvements, as they do with all their systems and support. So we'll probably get even more features out of the camera later on. I'm sure not everything inside that is unlocked. As we know with all previous systems, they always unlock new features. Even X Pro 2, you know, we never had tethering, and then they unlocked tethering for us, all those nice things. But overall, I think the camera's superb. It's an absolute blast. Double SD card slots all over again, still fast enough to take the current sensor technology and size. No problems there, not even with video. I'm looking forward to shooting some video on this, a medium format size sensor with almost 100% coverage by a couple of millimeters on one side, 100% coverage with 4K, with the option of 4K up to 30p, with 5-axis stabilization built into the camera. That I'm looking forward to, and when I do get a production model in my hands, when they come in the country, which is not yet, then I will be putting it through its paces. And if I have the system for 10 days, which I hope I will, because there won't be very many available for us at the moment because they've got to go to other places, then I am certainly planning to arrange shoots and video and setups for every single damn day that I have it. And I'm going to put it through its paces. So maybe we can do some more live streaming of that behind the scenes, so you can see the camera in action. That would be awesome. So we'll try and live stream that as well for you guys. Are there any questions? I don't know. On my screen, I can't see questions coming through on this streaming software. I wish I could, but hey, you can still leave questions in the comments below, because it'll stay on YouTube, and I'll post it over to Facebook and things like that as well. But please post some questions in the comments below, and I can always come back to it on YouTube once it's closed off, and try and get back to you guys with some other info. But I don't know what else to say. Fujifilm have smashed it again, and broken some world first records, and I'm looking forward to where this is going to. Awesome system. Can't wait to get it in my hands. Don't really need it in my bag, even though I would use it and it would suit my industry. Will I end up buying it? Probably. I'm one of those suckers that probably would buy it, even though I don't really need it, even though I do kind of need it. You know where I'm going? It's not gas syndrome either, you know, because I would shoot it to death. So it would still be a tool that would earn money for me, and it would pay for itself through working its ass off. So yeah, if I buy it, then yeah, it'll be working like crazy. Would I then get rid of a 50S and 50R? 50R and 50Ss? No, of course I wouldn't. There's a place for all of those in my kit bag for different reasons, for different things. And I love using both of them. So yeah, well guys, anybody that's managed to tune in live, I don't know, I can't see any numbers on this screen.
There's a
Question, we got a question, yeah.
R. Summers saying, how accurate is the eye autofocus? Would you use it in studio? I've never felt confident using auto eye focus on the 50S.
Yeah, the 50S is completely different. You've got to remember, the 50S is different. It's a different sensor. So, you know, the eye focus is not completely there with the 50S. The new 100, the 100S brings all that phase detection, which we don't have any others. So we've got phase detection in the 100 now from the X-T3, and because it's the BSI sensor, it means we can bring. I say it like I'm part of Fujifilm. I kind of am. I'm in the family. It means that Fujifilm have been able to bring that tech over on the BSI sensor from the X-T3, and they can just literally just parallel it over. I make it sound so easy, don't I? All this creative tech stuff, but yeah, they can bring it over. Obviously, the versions that I've tested, the prototype and the pre-prods, were still not final firmware, and I don't think final firmware is still there, even though World Launch Day has happened today. So I'm sure Fujifilm is still dotting I's and crossing T's and giving us more improvements on there on tests. But for what I tested, yes, the eye focus is pretty accurate. It's pretty much on par with the X-T3, and of course the eye focus is more accurate on a subject further away, because it's now picking up on a smaller percentage of coverage of the sensor area. Now, if you look at the Fuji X-T3 system, that's been an update recently in firmware, where it's now hitting eye focus further back on a subject further back in your frame in composition. So what you see there on the X-T3 has come over to the GFX100. So you can expect the eye detection and face detection, which you can select through those anyway, like you can with X-T3. X-T3 eye focus and GFX is completely different. So if the person that put that question forward on the GFX 50S, if you've got an X-T3, test out the eye focus on that, and that's pretty much what you're going to get in GFX 100. But again, I was only testing pre-prods, so but I'm blown away by it. I mean, to have that in medium format anyway is a first. So I mean, that's phenomenal, and it can only get better. It can only get better, especially with the face detection, covering virtually 100% coverage of that sensor as well. So yeah, I think you're going to be impressed, really, really impressed. And of course, at the end of the day, for commercial shooters and commercial studios, its price point around the $10,000 mark is like very affordable compared to its competition of non-mirrorless medium format systems. Yeah, a lot of people still argue sensor size and things, but you can pixel peep till the cows come home, but at the end of the day, 50 megapixels is still mind-blowing. So I don't know how much you need. How much resolution do you need? I mean, that's always the question. But for me, 50 megapixels is amazing. It's better than it's ever been. Every camera we get now going forward is always better than it's ever been, and always better than we've ever had. So a lot of people complain for not too much, really. So yeah, expect great eye autofocus in that. Again, I'd say if you're in studio, same with anything. I mean, it doesn't completely impossible. So if your subject is in the dark corner of a room with no modeling lights, then don't expect it to be 100%. Not even the Sony systems on their mirrorless full frames can pick up eye detect in dark corners of a room with no ambient light. So don't expect it to do the impossible, but it will do a damn good job in most scenarios and most situations where you have light on your subject. So yeah, blown away by it, absolutely blown away. And like I say, they were on the pre-prod models. Any other questions?
No, that's the only question.
That's the only question. Well, we didn't actually announce this live stream too much, so those of you that have joined, thank you for joining on this. It was very last minute, and we are just streaming this through my iPhone. So yeah, we hope it's streaming through okay to YouTube. Seems to be all right. We seem to be getting a good feed. With no camera set up here, it's just my iPhone 7 Plus doing the live stream with a little lav mic plugged into it. But yeah, Fujifilm already, before I even get this in my hands properly, thank you ever so much for allowing me to be part of the product, not kind of product testing, but product feedback in the initial stages at the X Summit in Dubai on the prototype versions, and thank you for letting me be part of the pre-prod versions and everything else. And I will shoot a little campaign for it. Not the official Fuji one, because that's already been done. Sadly, I didn't get that one this time, but there's always another one, another day. And believe me, guys, when it comes in the country and I get the production versions in my hands, I am going to shoot the absolute crap out of it for 10 days, and you're welcome to join me on live stream and BTS for that on some of those as well, because we will be putting it through its paces, both video, handheld, 5-axis IBIS. We'll be testing those features. I'll be shooting the 4K at 30p and 24 and everything else that we can get out of it. And I will be shooting some fashion editorial campaigns, some beauty campaigns, and maybe we'll try and get some other stuff in there as well, to add a bit of creativity. Anybody wants to see anything when that time comes, it won't be for probably a month or so yet, by the time we even get one, end of July. And then allow us 10 days to start creating content. But if anybody wants to be part of that, anybody wants to come and assist on those for any of those 10 days and be involved with any of the filming and the BTS film footage of anything like that, please feel free again to drop me a little note in the comments below. Let me know who you are, what you do, what your speciality is. Any creatives out there, models, makeup artists, stylists, hairstylists, want to be part of something creative for 10 days. We're going to try and do something different every day. So we're going to blow this thing out of the water when we get it and work it to death.
Another question.
Another question.
From Dave. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Dave Shahik Photography.
Oh, Dave Schick. Yeah. Hi, Dave. Nice of you to join us. I know you're over in the USA.
So he says, do you anticipate the price of the 50 dropping?
I don't know really, because it's a different market, and if you look at the market, it's still going to be a very strong market for the 50S and the 50R. They're not replacing it, and they are both still different. So the 50S, the 50R is more of a rangefinder style. I like shooting that a lot at the moment, really enjoying it. Just bought a little third-party grip plate for it, makes it a bit nicer in the hand. So they're both a different market and a different price point for an affordable market. As we know, as technology goes forward and new models come out, previous models always reduce in price a little bit. It's the nature of the beast of cameras and the digital world we live in. Are they going to drop at the moment? Probably not, because the camera's not out for the GFX100 is not available to buy yet. You can pre-order, I'm sure. But the GFX100 is the next step up again, and you've got to remember it's currently twice the price of the current systems. So I think each of those systems, the R, the S, and the new 100, has its place for different people in different places. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people like me will probably have all three of them commercially if they're commercial pros. Not forgetting the rich amateurs in the world, because if you put all the rich amateurs together that buy medium format cameras, there's probably more of them than us commercial pros, in all fairness, in terms of sales. Bizarrely. They've obviously got excess income, expendable income, to go and enjoy these lovely things. But I'm sure it will in a long term, Dave. Yeah, I'm sure all prices will come down gradually, but at the moment, no, because it's not a replacement. It's just an addition to the line and to the series. So I think prices will be pretty stable at the moment. As always, there's always offers on things at certain times of the year. Goes without saying of any camera body, and no matter what it is. But yeah, they're each individual systems to their own right. So yeah. Any more?
No, that's it.
No more. Well, that's amazing. I mean, I've been on here for over half an hour now, just babbling on. But those of you that missed the beginning of this live stream, please play it back. I'm just going over the launch of the Fujifilm GFX100. It's an absolute awesome camera. I'm blown away by having focus speed and focus locking and IBIS and face and eye detect and phase detection focusing, and the speed of the focus of the 100 is very similar to an X-T3. So for me to have that in a medium format system, and that's only covering some of it. Now we've got 16-bit RAW, we've got 5.76 million dot EVF, 100% coverage, the enhancements in this thing, tethered shooting straight out the bag, USB-C charging from your power banks, in a 102 megapixel medium format system, is just superb. Yeah, can't wait to get shooting with it. that's me. You know, we're in the studio. We've got editing and videos to edit and podcasts to edit and other shoots to get out. We've got 3 shoots to edit and get out for deadline and things, and a video to edit for a campaign, a Ferrari shoot we did, which we're behind on. So guys, we're just going to get back to that. So thanks for everybody that joined me. When I get another physical system, another GFX100 in my hand, we'll do more of this, and we'll go more through the menus and everything else. But I'm sure if you search YouTube, there are people that have already done reviews with prototypes, so you'll be able to see more of the screens and the top screens and the virtual dials in the top screen and everything else, and more features that I'm giving you now by waving empty hands. I just want to say I'm proud to be part of it from the outset, proud to give feedback, and proud to be part of its sort of evolution and development and progress in the GFX series, which, you know, you guys know I shoot predominantly a lot of my work on. But thanks, guys, and I think that's about it. Yeah, we're going to round off. So have a great day, and we'll see you all again soon. And this live streaming thing's actually been okay. I've been enjoying this. It's been fun. So anything else you want to see live streamed, actually put some comments. You know, give us some suggestions and comments for some more live streaming stuff, because this seems to be working well, and we're checking feeds on another phone. It's coming through just fine. So if you have any requests for anything to be live streamed or anything we're doing in studio or shoots, drop that in the notes below. If we can do it, then we'll try and fulfill it if it's not in breach of anything client based. But again, thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon with more fun stuff for the GFX100. Look out for it, guys. It's an absolutely awesome piece of kit. And after that, we're just going to close it off. Thanks, guys. Take care. See you again soon.